welcome to Yin, laying on your back to begin with. You can use props beneath yourself if you'd like to. You certainly don't have to, but it can be helpful for comfort. So laying down, I'm actually going to turn this way, I think, and kind of mix things up. So laying down, letting the feet be wide on the mat, letting the toes fall out, and then tuck your shoulder blades behind you so the chest opens up a bit. Now if you're feeling tight behind your shoulders, I don't want you to do that. Instead, I want you to pull your shoulder blades apart from one another, and notice how the shoulder heads come forward in front of you. Let them soften towards the ground, and things will kind of neutralize there. And then let the hands come either to the belly or to the heart space, okay? Maybe somewhere in between, maybe a combination, but let's find connection with our bodies. When you feel comfortable, let your eyes close. Now we are going to do heart breathing. So we're going to begin to bring our awareness to the heart space, and then eventually in the practice it'll come to the belly, but for now, let's bring it to the heart. Hands can stay on the belly, that's just fine. You don't need to move them to the heart. If it helps you for awareness, you can bring your hands over your chest. Ladies, that might mean grabbing your fleshy areas, that's fine. Okay, it's your body, you're allowed to touch it. Just get your hands anywhere that's comfortable, but bring your mind, your third eye even, the gaze to the heart space. And I'd like you to imagine that as you breathe in and out, you're actually breathing through the heart, as if the chest or the rib cage has given you space, gently come apart to allow air to come in and out through that space. You can breathe through the nose or the mouth or a combination, but breathe through the heart. There's been a lot of science to prove that this heart breathing can really affect our entire nervous system. They're even starting to be able to prove that our energy levels, our auras, they can actually be seen through different lenses. We give off vibrations. As we breathe, and it makes sense. We think about sonar and bats and how they can sense things just by that. We can also give that off. Most of it radiating from the heart space, since that's where our blood is pumped, our life force is spread. So give that area room to breathe. Really allow the rib cage to expand in all directions, up, out, and then lengthwise. So 3 different planes of direction, all expanding. Breathing in, filling up. And then exhaling, the air coming out of the heart. And things just kind of settle and reassemble as if by magic. In fact, in many ways, the body is magic. So much has to go right in every moment for our bodies to be alive, for our souls to be in our bodies. Perhaps as you breathe, to use this heart space breathing, you can think about all the tiny miracles, all of the things that have gone right for you to be exactly where you are. It can be from a biological standpoint, the cells in your body, how they work, the organs, your brain, or it can be things such as driving, how there may have been so many near misses that we never will know about as far as car accidents go, or accidents in general. Protection that we've had have allowed us to be able to keep living, to keep aging. aging is a gift. So now as you breathe through this heart space, begin pulling in bits of gratitude for each miracle of life, for everything that's gone right. There's no doubt that there's a lot that's gone wrong in the world. We've been wrong in our own selves, our own lives. But for now, as we begin our practice, we're going to focus on the good. We're going to focus on the miracles that some people will call luck. We're going to call miracles fate. Maybe even blessings. Can you begin to invite in peace? Begin calling in, summoning even feelings of peace and gratitude, creating a feeling of serenity in your body. You can make it happen. Just as we can make misery or unhappiness happen by thinking certain things, we can do the opposite as well. Our mind is so powerful. Now, what I'd like you to do is to begin just bending, flexing through the wrists, but keep the rest of the body still. You can make fists loosely, or you can leave the fingers extended. Just gently move the hands, flexing and extending, not circling. Almost like you're paddling through water. In fact, perhaps you can even feel some resistance, as if you're in water or something thicker, maybe honey, molasses. And now find a stiffness or rigidity in the wrists and allow this to happen at the elbows. So the elbows are on the floor, and now we're just bending and straightening the arms at the elbows. Again, soft, maybe fists or fingers extended, up to you. And now let the hands come down towards the floor, and again find that stiffness in the elbow. And let's do this with the shoulder. Now, only finding the range of motion with the shoulder as is comfortable. I'd like you, as your fingertips extend to the sky, to really reach. Allow there to be a little bit of roundness in the upper back, a lot of space in the shoulder girdle. That way, as you bring the tops of the hands behind you, there's no pinching. There's only space. And then bring them back down. The hands can come all the way to the floor, and they're going all the way up as is comfortable. Remember, we're arching like a rainbow. Maybe the hands just come straight above you. Maybe they come up behind you. They may come to the floor behind you, but they may not. If you notice you have to really sink into the shoulders for this to happen, there may be pinching, so don't do that. Slow breath still through the heart space. Try to keep that focus. This is part of that Chitta Bhavana that we've been talking about this week. Our focus at the heart space is a meditation tool. You can use it anytime during your practice or during your daily life. Last time, let's bring palms to the floor. Now let's bend the knees, feet flat on the floor. And let's begin to rock the knees from side to side, slowly, not quickly. Again, we're moving through honey. Now, if you've got some low back stuff, especially SI, and you feel maybe a little bit of torque, I want you to do little mini windshield wipers, okay? You can even actually just bring the knees apart and then bring the knees together, okay? Keeping that low back real stable, so maybe we even find a bit of a butterfly. And we close the wings. We're just moving through the hips, letting the femurs move in the hip sockets in any way that feels good. Preparing by using this bit of movement to find stillness in our postures so that we can find true rest and restoration. And our first pose is actually going to be laying here on our back, but I'd like you to choose what feels good for you in your legs. So the legs can be long, you can stretch them out, or you can bend at the knees. But what I'd like you to do is reach the arms out into a T, reach the fingertips, spread your wingspan as far as you can, and then cross your arms in front of you, right arm over left, and give yourself a big hug. And walk your fingertips as close as you can into the spine until you can feel your shoulder blades. And then use your fingertips to palpate the edges of your shoulder blades. Just kind of get to know that area behind you. Maybe even hooking the fingertips there for just a moment, applying a little bit of pressure underneath the shoulder blades, helping release the fascia that may be bound there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find our eagle arms. Now, if eagle arms is something that's not accessible to you, maybe you have upper bicep issues or shoulder problems, you don't have to do that. You can maintain this hug, and what you're going to do is you're just going to maintaining that grip towards your shoulder blades. You're going to try and lift your elbows up towards the sky. This is inviting a little bit of effort, so a little bit of metal element. Or for our eagle arms, we're going to find whichever version, maybe back with the hands together, or maybe that full wrap palm to palm. And we're going to pull our elbows away from our chest. It's creating a lot of space in the back body. Now you're welcome to let the elbows come up overhead again. We're lifting away from the chest, arching like a rainbow. If you'd like to put a prop or block behind your head to let the hands rest on, you can. You can also use your forehead or the floor. Helping release between the shoulder blades, finding some space. While keeping the low back nice and stable. Sometimes when we do eagle pose, especially with our legs in the eagle pose, we become a bit lordotic, so we get that big swoop or sway back. This is a good way to prevent that, but still get the benefits of the arm gesture. If at any point you feel like it's too much to be in full eagle arms, come back to that big hug. Give yourself the hug that you need. Try and find again a little bit of pull, elbows towards the sky, feeling the space that you create behind you. And you're not stuck where you are with your legs. If you'd like to adjust and move them, you're welcome to. Straightening, bending, maybe a combination, some water-like movement. If you do find movement through the feet or the legs, I'd really like you to invite in water. So think about slow, swirling water. Waves rolling in and out. and begin to switch the cross of our arms. So again, unwinding, reaching up towards the sky, letting our wings spread wide, hands as far away from each other as they can, and then switching the cross of the arms. This time left over right, starting with that big hug. Again, massaging just inside or just medial of shoulder blades, maybe massaging under the shoulder blades if you get that little hook of flesh. Help soften and release the fascia. If you go down a little bit further, there's going to be a marma point. You're going to notice it because when you press it, it's going to be a little bit tender. Especially as you come in towards the spine. It's where our fascia intersects and crosses across the body. You can release that. You can usually find some great relief. As you're ready, lift the elbows, pull them up towards the sky, and let the upper back broaden. The chest isn't necessarily hollowing out. It's not closing and collapsing in, but we're definitely not broadening our collarbones here. This is space in the back body. If you'd like to find your eagle arms, this is the time. Let the back of the neck be long, by the way, so slight tuck of the chin. So the forehead is just a little bit more elevated than the chin. Back of the neck is nice and smooth. Same thing, we're pulling the shoulders, we're pulling the elbows away from the shoulders. Maybe arching up and over, resting on the forehead or a prop behind us. Breathing into the heart space. Noticing if the legs need movement or adjustment for the sake of the low body, the sake of the back. Whatever you choose to do, let there be a reason. We often say, choose an intention, choose an intention. But sometimes our impact is actually more important than the intention. You can have the best intention in the world, but if it causes harm, good is it? So really be thoughtful with what you choose to do so the impact is good. Now begin to release the arms, spread your wings. Bring one knee to the chest, then the other, unless this irritates the low back, in which case I'd like you to bring the arms long and let there be space between your low back and the floor. From here, make some circles through the hips, small circles, concentric maybe some other figure eight pattern, just moving a little. And we're going to come up to a seat. So when you're ready, either rocking and rolling up or coming onto one side and then pressing yourself up, as long as you come to a seat. And what I'd like you to do is to take some movement here, whatever it is that you could be needing. It can be some seated cat-cows, lifting through the heart and rounding through the spine, or perhaps some twists. You can alternate doing one and the other. Again, a little bit of movement can really help us prepare for stillness and help us get the full benefit of our stillness. Good. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. We're going to find our butterfly or our diamond, depending on your knees and your hips, where you'd like to feel sensation, where you maybe feel too much sensation. Keeping a nice straight spine if you'd like that metal element, or if you'd like the earth element, just let it all round and melt forward. But we're bringing the chest forward either way, so you can use a little bit of leverage. That invites in wood, actually. So you have three options, I guess, for earth elements. So you can use metal, lift the heart forward, think timber, a tree falling, almost like a half lift in vinyasa yoga. Find a little bit of leverage, or just melt and round and bring support up to you, maybe a pillow for the forehead or the belly. And I'd like you to go back to that heart space breathing, but notice how it's different in this position, because it's going to feel a little different. Especially if we focus on the front of the heart. But as we're folded forward, can you try that heart space breathing at the back of your heart? So breathe in and out through the heart behind you. Create space there just like we did before, but notice the difference. You notice that discomfort begins to come that isn't a green light from your body. It begins to give you a little bit of caution. Go ahead and adjust yourself. Maybe find a different element. So I was, for example, in earth element, began to feel a little discomfort in my low back, as if I was beginning to overstretch the low back. Very easy to do. So now I myself am going to find a metal element, kind of like that cow shape of the back. So my heart is really pulling forward and I'm stabilizing through the low back. Feel free to make any adjustments that you need at any time. This pose does is it actually brings more strength to the low back while still increasing flexibility through the hips. Yin yoga can be defined as a practice that increases and focuses on mobility and flexibility rather than strength. But it's okay to get some strength from yin. Certain more modern versions of yin focus just on flexibility and all passiveness, but that's not how yin was actually meant to be used. It's all about balance. Now let's come up, let's exit this pose. What I'd like you to do now is to lean back on the hands, bring your feet wide on your mat, and bring your knees together. And then hug your elbows in behind you and hang into the shoulders a bit, okay? We're going to stress the connective tissue of the shoulder just a bit, not too much. If you like, you can come down to forearms if that's comfortable for you. If you need to, you can also lay on the back. But we want internal rotation of the femurs into the hip sockets right now. So knees together, feet wide, perhaps even a little pigeon-toed, so heels out, toes in. Noticing where you like your upper body to be. All the way up, hands to the ground, forearms to the ground, or back to the ground. Again, you can Goldilocks it, find out where your comfort zone is, what feels good for you. If your hands are to the floor, notice what feels good, whether you want your fingertips facing the feet or facing away. Either way, soft elbows, okay? In yin yoga, it is okay to hyperextend the joints generally, again, because it provides just a little bit of stress on those areas. But don't do it so much so, like mine, if you can see me, mine really hyperextend. And if I sit here for too long, I am going to cause some damage. So I myself need to be mindful. I need to rotate the eyes of my elbows forward just a bit. Or I need to turn my fingers towards my toes, and that's going to prevent that issue altogether. This is just a counter pose. We won't be here quite as long. For our next pose, we're going to go into the hip, outer hip especially, but also perhaps the inside of the hip flexor on the opposite side. We're going to find swan pose or pigeon pose, however you may use it. I'm going to give an option to do this traditionally. If that hurts the low back, I'm going to have you do it laying on your back as more of a modified deer pose. So I'm going to demonstrate the modification first because I'm already kind of here, and then we'll go into the full version that I can offer. So if you're doing the modified version, pretty sure you guys have all seen this. We're going to plant the feet, we're going to lift the right leg up, cross the ankle in front of the left thigh. From here, you can either leave it as is if you feel some sensation. You can bring a block under the left foot to help bring the right shin towards you without using any effort of the muscles. Or if you'd like some wood element, you can interlace your fingers behind the thigh and let there be a little bit of tug on the shoulders. That is option 1. Option 2 is to come up, to bring the right foot towards the left edge of your mat and the right knee towards the right edge of your mat. Lean on to the right hip, bring the left leg all the way behind you. Now this can be pretty intense. So that's not what we want. We don't want to be completely intense in this pose. So you have a couple of options. You can either use props to elevate the right hip and glute, or you can bring in that heel towards the groin and then begin to kind of roll over. This isn't, Iyengar or other really strict forms of alignment yoga. This is yin yoga. There's lots of gray area. So it's not about how it looks. It's not about alignment. This is all about how it feels. So find a swan that feels good. One that you can kind of let yourself go into, and then just be. If you feel comfortable, if you're in the full swan, resting forward, rest forward. If you're in that supine version where you're laying on your back and you feel the effort of the arms to feel, more stress, more stretch, you really want more ease, something more restorative, just prop that left foot on a block, maybe stack blocks, and let that be your edge today. You don't always have to do more. In fact, one thing you can do is bring attention to the belly. Sometimes when we have a hard time making a decision with our mind, we need to look at our second brain, which is our belly. We always say, what does your gut say? Listen to your gut. In yoga, it's the same thing. We can listen to our belly. It'll tell us what to do. So feel in your belly, feel in your second brain, and listen. Don't let ego, the need for a deep stretch, put the shadow over your practice. legs in this pose. I'd like you to begin bringing the hands to the floor. If you are laying on your back, go ahead and unwind the legs. If you'd like to take a little hamstring stretch by stretching the right leg up in the air, go ahead. And then if you're in this position that I'm in full swan, I'd like you to lean onto the right hip and bring that left leg all the way around. Okay? And then stretch the legs out, and you too get a hamstring stretch. Very gentle. Bit of a counter pose here. We're going to do another counter pose that does require a little bit of muscular effort. That's going to help us open up the front of the hip just a bit so we can get into swan on the other side. Now if you are laying on your back, what you are going to do is plant both feet, and you're going to squeeze your glutes and you're going to lift your pelvis up into a bridge. If you are just like me, sort of in the staff pose, plant the hands just behind the hips, push into the hands, lift the pelvis up towards the sky. Okay, so this is what we're doing here. You can do a couple times. Again, if you're on your back, you're doing a bridge. So you're pressing your feet down. I'm demonstrating now if you need to look. And you're lifting up. So just opening up through the front here. We're on that one side, we had a lot of compression. The other side was pretty open. But sometimes just a little bit of even massage, if you're doing the bridge version, can help. If you are doing the reverse plank version and you can massage with one hand, hats off to you, very impressive. Otherwise, getting ready for the other side. So whichever version you took on the first side, I'm going to encourage you to do the exact same thing on the side, just the opposite leg. So for that supine version, this time the left leg is going to cross over the right thigh. You can prop up that right foot as much as you need for support, or you can find a little bit of effort, a little bit of wood element by grabbing behind the right thigh. If you are seated, this time we begin to bring the left foot to the right side of the mat. We lean on the left hip as far as we can so we can send the right leg behind us. Notice any stiffness there. It's normal as we go into the second side for that right front of the hip, those hip flexors to be a little stiff. So ease into it. Bring the heel into the groin for space, or bring the hip up for space. Take your time settling. Listen to the belly. And then find your way into a state of rest. Perhaps something to think on while we're here, because this was a longer hold, as you noticed on the first side. You can think about, I mentioned earlier that the ego can cast a shadow. Sometimes the ego itself is a shadow cast by the mind. The ego is how we think of ourselves. So a lot of times when someone seems like they're really selfish or everything's all about them, we say, man, they have a big ego. And really, the ego is actually really small. You know, if their sense of self is only themselves, that's a pretty small ego. Instead, if we can zoom out and we can include others, caring for others, having empathy for others, and really thinking about others' feelings, that's a big ego. That's involving everyone and identifying with everyone in the connection that we have as ourselves. So maybe use this time to imagine yourself and imagine zooming out and thinking of everyone that is part of your identity, because we all have that. You know, whether we are mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, you know, we all have these connections. It can be part of your career, maybe your dharma that you're living, your life's calling. But let your ego get bigger. focus on the positive. But perhaps now, in this posture, in this shape of opening into our emotions, we can even allow there to be space in our ego, to open towards suffering, and not just of ourselves, but suffering of others. And we can meet that with compassion. There's a lot of suffering in the world always, but it's especially noticeable and in our face right now. So maybe you can think of a specific person, group of people, or situation. Maybe yourself, maybe a particular situation for yourself has caused you discomfort or suffering. Maybe someone else. And can you meet yourself there with compassion? Giving yourself the affirmations that you give your best friend. Bringing that best friend into your ego as well. Instead of ego being a shadow created by the mind, let it be light. Light that comes from the mind. Again, feeling this in the belly. You might notice as you do this, as you focus on the belly and as you focus on these thoughts, that your breath begins to move downward to the belly and you feel more breath in the belly, more diaphragmatic breathing. That's natural and you can welcome that. Allow there to be shifts. Welcome the change. Almost time to exit this shape. Take a couple more breaths. Deep, satisfying breaths. And I'd like you to notice where it feels like the breath starts and stops in the body. It's more towards the heart, the belly, or neither. No right, no wrong, just noticing. As you're ready, begin to press up to the hands or extend your leg up to the sky. Take a hamstring stretch. Roll into the left hip if you are in your full swan. legs in front of you. And again, taking first a hamstring stretch, and then opening to the front of the hip with that reverse table or a bridge pose. If you'd like to do a reverse table, I meant to say reverse plank the first time, but I'd like to offer a reverse table also. So I'll demonstrate all three once again. So reverse plank looks like this. Hands behind the hips, heels down, pelvis up, squeeze the glutes for some support, and lower. For the reverse table, heels come in, the knees are bent, feet are flat, and we press up. For that bridge, the back comes to the floor, the feet are still flat, knees are still bent. We squeeze the glutes and we lift the pelvis up. So take one of these three options just to bring some strength to the back body, some opening to the front body, and then come back down. Notice if there's any movement that the body's asking for here again, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to find a twist. I'm going to give you an option for a supine laying down twist or for a seated twist. I really think sometimes we need options. We need to match our energy level to our practice instead of our practice to our energy level or vice versa. So do what's best for you. For the seated twist, because that's how I am right now, that's what I'll demonstrate first. We're going to do that half Lord of the Fishes twist. So we'll start with pulling the right heel in. If you are able to, crossing it over the left leg. If not, just keeping it on the inside, okay? So then we're gonna hug the right knee in towards the chest, and that's gonna pull the chest towards the knee. And with the shoulders, we're gonna rotate, not with the low back. So think about this rotation even starting with the eyes. So turn the head, shoulders follow. If the foot is crossed over the leg, it can get a little bit deeper. So turning the head, turning the shoulders, possibly using the left elbow as some wood element for leverage, right hand behind you for steadiness. Okay. If you are laying on your back, what I'm going to have you do is cross your right leg over the left, kind of finding those eagle legs this time. We found eagle arms in the beginning. And then dropping, maybe even scooting the hips to the right as we drop the knees to the left, gaze to the right, okay? So finding which twist is best for the body, feeling free to try both, and then picking the one that suits you, or going by convenience. If you are already seated, doing the half Lord of the Fishes, Ardha Matsyendrasana, or if you are already laying down on your back, taking that eagle leg Girdasana twist. And you don't have to worry about pulling the belly in and lifting through the crown here. Allow yourself to belong to the earth. Allow yourself to be heavy and soft. Unless you are looking for the metal element, that is the only exception. And for some that's more helpful. But generally, yin is for rest. Just keep that in mind. We're only here for a few more breaths. Using these twists to help wring out any excess. Perhaps anything that's already been used by us, energetically or physically. Physically, by helping the digestive system kind of move things along. energetically by helping us find fresh perspective. Metaphors can be great for the mind, making things more tangible while keeping a creative, interesting hook. As you feel ready, we're going to come out of this twist. And depending on your body position, I want you to find some sort of movement, some sort of shape even, that counters what we just did. Listen to the belly, okay? So eyes closed, listen to the belly. What is the body asking for? Perhaps lifting through the heart, or rounding through the upper back. Drilling down, maybe windshield wipering the knees side to side. And then we're going to go right to the other side, guys. So this time, you're seated. It's the left heel that's going to come in. Perhaps crossing over the right leg. Pulling into the knee. Turning the head. Letting the shoulders follow. The thoracic spine is meant to twist. The lumbar is meant to bend back. So allowing the thoracic spine, the upper back to twist, and let the lower spine be grounded where it is, be comfortable. If you are laying down, crossing the left leg over the right leg, finding those eagle legs, scooting the hips a little to the left this time, dropping the knees to the right, looking towards the left. Paying very close attention to the low back. It's going to be a great stretch for the low back, or it can be too much. So remember, if the mind isn't helping you decide, the belly will. Second brain. If you're still not sure, do less. Err on the side of caution. Couple more breaths. Beginning to come out of your twist slowly. Never exit a twist quickly. In fact, in the end, just make it a rule, everything is slow. Let that be a gift to yourself. And then again, notice what the body's wanting. If it's wanting some rounding, some arching, just being mindful of that. If you're seated, go ahead and allow yourself to lay back. It's time to position ourselves for Shavasana. Shava, lack of energy, lack of life, no effort. Using props beneath the body, maybe even on top of the body for comfortable weight. You can lay supine or prone on the back or the belly, even the side. So allow yourself to come to a position where there's no effort being asked of the body. No effort being asked of the mind. the mind will still wander, that's okay. You're welcome to bring it somewhere specific to you, just like at the start of class. Or you can follow it, see where it takes you. Remembering to invite in feelings of joy, of gratitude, the miracles that have allowed you to be where you are. Cultivating this type of energy, this type of feeling is going to let your mind wander to positive places. I'm going to play a little bit on my harmonium. If that's a sound that you don't prefer, go ahead and turn your volume down and allow yourself to rest in your Shavasana on your own. Otherwise, just listen. The ego open, let the body soften. You're welcome to allow yourself to keep resting, to maintain the shape of your body, creativity of the mind in your Shavasana, or to begin waking up, moving the body, perhaps stretching the limbs, moving through joints, inviting in more energy, while allowing a sense of calmness to remain. As you feel ready, I'm going to have you meet me in a seated position if you choose to do so. If you choose to stay laying down in your Shavasana, just keep breathing as you are. If you are seated, empty yourself completely of air. And now let's inhale together, filling all the way up. Breathing in through the heart. Exhale, breathing all the way out through the belly. Inhaling through the heart. Exhaling through the belly. Hands together. Final breath together this practice. Breathing in. And breathing out. Thank you so much for letting me be part of your practice. Sending you love and peace. Om Shanti.